The future is now for the Texas Rangers, although they do have an eye on the past as they head to Arizona. There is so much to talk about, the future and the past, as we celebrate a time with the Rangers right now and with you on the DLLS Rangers Podcast. At Vanderbilt, they're not quite reunited at the big league level yet, but they will be. John Radigan with Abby Jones and Jeff Wilson, and there is so much to talk about with the Rangers today. It starts with the big news that broke yesterday, Jeff, and you had a chance to talk to the general manager, Chris Young, about this, and they've decided to call up Kumar Rocker, something we really didn't see coming.
Didn't anticipate.
Then we thought maybe we did see coming, and now it's happening.
Yeah, you know, it seems like there's two camps on this. If you look at public reactions, like, oh, why are they doing this? Don't start his clock. He doesn't need to be here. Doesn't matter. And then there's the excited group. And then, well, I guess a third group is the baseball group. And the baseball ops guys want to see Kumar Rocker. They want to get him comfortable. I really think that he's in the rotation for 2025. I think they've already decided. You know, at minimum, they're going to have one spot to fill. But I just think that they're getting him ready, giving him a taste, letting him see the Mariners, letting him see the Angels, two division opponents who, in theory, he could see, 8 times combined next season, depending on how the rotation were to fall. Get him used to the travel. Yeah, just all sorts of things to get used to. And but he's also earned it. I mean, it's not like this is going to be a number 5 starter who's going to get shelled for 8 runs in 2 innings. Kumar Rocker looks like he's going to go out there and pitch 5 really, really good innings and keep the Rangers in the game. So this is all done with an eye toward 2025. Chris Young said so. When I talked to him yesterday, he was getting off the plane in Arizona, so he'll be there to greet Kumar and, take the next step toward the future, I guess.
We did ask the fans. We sent a poll out on Twitter. Is Kumar Rocker ready for the show? And 81% said yes. 18% said still needs time.
Well, and to those people and to the ones that Jeff referenced about, this is wrong, they shouldn't do it, they're starting his clock, he's not ready. Here's the thing, and if it does seem like the Rangers have been a little bit indecisive on this, right? It's a moving target, and the development of a pitcher is not really any player, but especially a pitcher. It's not linear. It's not scientific. And despite what the analytic people would have you believe, it's not mathematical. And if there's anybody looking at those intangibles that are a part of the art of developing a pitcher, in Major League Baseball, in any front office across the league, give me Chris Young, because he's been there.
Right.
He's done that. In 2004, he was where Kumar Rocker is right now, which is to say he was called up in September, and then once 2005 started, he stayed for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and Jeff, I kind of have a question because, we were at the park this weekend, and we heard Bruce Bochy pretty adamantly say, I like where Kumar is at right now. I think this is a good time, good decision for his development. That was 48 hours ago, maybe a little bit more. So what do you think changed?
Well, I think he had a conversation with Chris Young. But, Bruce Bochy, for as much input as he has on the daily lineup, doesn't really make out the roster ultimately. And I'm sure that Chris Young would welcome his feedback as a guy who in San Francisco had 3 great homegrown starting pitchers that helped the Giants win 3 World Series. But I just think that one of the main factors here is the TV deal, and the Rangers really don't know what they're going to have to work with this offseason as far in terms of a payroll. So you need to develop your own starting pitching. It looks like you have one, and you need that affordable option instead of going out into free agency and getting a guy who probably won't do any better than Kumar Rocker. So get him up, give him a taste, and just pencil him into the rotation. Just pencil him in and get him ready. And I think maybe, I don't know what the conversation was like, but from Saturday to Sunday, the tone of it had changed. And then obviously they called him up yesterday. So maybe Bruce and Chris hadn't quite connected on that one yet. But it really doesn't do the Rangers any harm to have him up here. Rocker has been healthy. He's been dominant. He's a cool character.
Yeah.
Likes to get out there and compete. So I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by the moment, or anything like that. So get him out there. And again, this is getting him jump started for next season.
Yeah, and to assuage those people who might be concerned about the numbers, all you need to do is consider Paul Skeen's numbers, right? This guy is going to be the Rookie of the Year in the National League, most likely. And there are his numbers, and it's the exact number of starts. It's 7 starts at the minor league level for Skeens. And yeah, those are really, really good numbers. A sub-1 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 8 walks in 27 2/3 of an inning. Now, let's take a look at the numbers of Kumar Rocker, and you will see they're better across the board.
They're better.
The ERA slightly lower, 3 walks, 47 strikeouts, and just a couple of more innings, 29 1/3. And Paul Skeens had no difficulty once he got up here. There's a certain talent level, I believe, that just dictates, you're talented enough to do this. And people weren't, balking at bringing Skeens up. They were celebrating it. Now, granted, that was Pittsburgh, but they were celebrating that. And I see no reason to balk this. Kumar Rocker's numbers indicate that he's ready. And Chris Young feels like he's ready. And that's probably even more important.
No doubt. And I think also there goes something with seeing a teammate and a close friend succeed at the major league level with your exact same organization. Sure. To see Jack Leiter do what he's done, Rocker and Leiter in Vandy. Rocker had a 2.8 ERA, Leiter had 2.6 or 2.3, excuse me. And just to go through the process of Kumar Rocker, you feel for him for this moment. I mean, everyone knows about 2019 when he had the 19 strikeout no-hitter with Vanderbilt in the NCAA Super Regional. He's been drafted 3 times. 3 times, 2 injuries in that process. So he's had his ups and downs, his battles. I think for him to see a teammate, like I said, and a friend, go to this next level and compete. I mean, to have one of your boys be there with you in the clubhouse, chuck it up on the bus on the way to the field, stuff like that. I imagine that Kumar Rocker stuff is going to easily translate to the big league level, but I think that it really helps to have a friend in that same situation.
Sure. They compete against each other. There's just no question. They were pitching on the same day for a while. They were here just a couple weeks ago, and they each knew what the other was doing. And so there's definitely that. There's and look, in 2021, Kumar Rocker entered the draft, season, if you will, the top prospect. He was dealing with some injuries. Jack ended up getting drafted higher. And then Kumar kind of got, he probably thinks he got screwed over by the Mets, but that's ancient history now. But it's been a tough go for him. And for him to get here, it's kind of a reward of all the things that he's had to overcome with not getting drafted, then getting drafted, then getting hurt. So good for him. A couple of viewers, Kyle asked if this was in any way related to the Rangers moving ever so closely to the postseason contention. Maybe. I thought my thinking on Rocker's promotion was if the Rangers got to a certain point that they would pull the trigger and bring him up because he'd be one of their 14 best pitchers. Well, I don't know if 7.5 in the West and 6 in the wild card counts, but it's definitely not the obstacle it once was. There are fewer games. And then Dennis, he's all for the move. I agree with everything that you wrote, Dennis. I mean, he's he's just built for this. I think. I really think Kumar Rocker is built for these big opportunities. And major league debut, you only get one of them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be crowded in Seattle. They've drawn well. The Mariners have, even though they've kind of crapped the bed, so to speak. But it's going to be a different atmosphere for him. Three levels, bunch of fans, major league hitters. So I'm curious to see how he handles all that stuff. The pitching's going to be fine.
Yeah, and Dennis Slokey, by the way, is a friend and a former colleague of mine and knows baseball. So, Dennis, shout out to you. Thanks for watching. And you're right. Your comments spot on as usual. He's also very funny. So check him out on Twitter. But so let's talk about the potential problems with this, though, Jeff. We've both mentioned. You mentioned first the starting of the clock, right? I mean, they don't have to start it until well into next year, in which case that buys them even more time. But they're starting it now.
Well, there are still ways to manipulate it. In 2011, Mike Trout was called up during the Angel season for a couple weeks. He actually played here, was sent back down. The Angels waited until the very first day they could call him up the next April to make sure that it didn't give him a year of service time, which clubs had been notorious for doing. Chris Bryant was very egregious a few years later. I don't think the Rangers are like that. I think having a player as a general manager is helpful. I'm sure Chris Young would have been really pissed if that had happened to him when he was a young player. So I just, again, if you want to, when you take the field on April or March 26th or 27th, 28th, whatever it is next year, you want your 26 best players. You want the guys that are going to give you a chance to win. A win in April counts as much as a win in September. And if Kumar Rocker can win you games, and if your intention is to play in October, which of course it will be, start out with the best you got. And so I just can't get over the importance that this move has for next year.
Yeah, and I think too, we've heard so much about the work ethic of Kumar Rocker. I mean, that's like one thing Bruce Bochy and Chris Young keep reiterating. But one cool thing, I was watching a documentary from his time with Vandy, and he told Tim Corbin, which is Vanderbilt's manager at the time, and he said, "I will be one of the best teammates that you'll ever coach." And that, I think, just goes to show his character. He grew up with an athletic dad. His dad's in the College Football Hall of Fame, War Eagle. And, now he's a defensive lineman coach for the Tennessee Titans. So I think that he is the definition of a hard worker. He's faced already so much adversity. And, it seems like just in a way that he was made for these big moments. You don't want to say he's made for trials and tribulations, but if there's anybody that's been able to handle the adversity and the struggles that he has, I think he's one of the most mentally stable and emotionally mature guys, able to kind of, take these setbacks and really turn it into something I'm very excited to see. And we talked about, him and DeGrom rehabbing together too. I think that is going to have immense payoff in his career in the long run. Just, can you imagine sitting down at DeGrom and talking baseball?
Yeah, and maybe even more importantly, getting here and sitting down with Nathan Eovaldi. Not that DeGrom's not the best. We've talked about that. But Nathan Eovaldi has that ability to just sort of teach it, to relate to other pitchers, and to notice things. He's like a pitching coach who's still playing. And, there's a chance, and we all hope that Nathan Eovaldi's around next year, but this may be the only exposure that Kumar Rocker has to a guy like Nathan Eovaldi, so let's get him that. The other thing you could be concerned about, Jeff, and this is some of the things that Abby was just talking about, and I think we're clear of this, but the other thing you'd be concerned about is to get up here and get overwhelmed by the level and have some sort of a mental, if not physical, setback.
Yeah, I don't think the Rangers think that will happen. First of all, I mean, anything could happen, but I think they know the guy. And I think that they know that Kumar Rocker is supremely confident. And even if he does get knocked around, he'll make whatever adjustments he needs to make and be ready to go next year.
Good.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what we want. I mean, it's going to be fun, especially if he has the opportunity, right, to do the things that he was doing at both minor league levels.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets up here.
I mean, it's not black and white that, what you did in minor leagues is going to happen in the major leagues. But we've seen stranger things happen.
Well, and
I'm very excited.
I didn't think he'd have near the success in AAA, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Bruce Bochy said he was shocked himself. He said, this is the best recovery that I have seen. It surprised me. I think it's incredibly hard to surprise Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, it is, right? Because Bochy's seen everything, and it was an amazing transition that he made, that Kumar made when he went from AA, where he was absolutely dominant, to AAA, where he was absolutely dominant. So really didn't miss a beat in that stretch there. So that's just awesome. We've got a lot more to talk about, and of course we'll talk lots more about Kumar Rocker as he gets ready to make that start on Thursday. The Rangers had an opening in their schedule for Thursday in their pitching rotation, and he slides right in there. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, and obviously we'll talk more about it on Thursday. Coming up next, we want to talk.
Jeff's heading out there.
Yeah, and Jeff's going. Jeff's going
behind the scenes.
Yeah, we don't mess around.
No, Jeff's going to be out there, so yeah, we'll be all over this. But first, we want to tell you about Sleeper. And you see, we've got Sleeper swag right here on the table in front of us. We also have some beautiful new Rangers swag that Jeff brought in from the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
So love those Corey Seager ones, the Silver Slugger and the World Series one. But Sleeper, please, people. It's time. It's time.
Time to stop sleeping and wake up.
Wake up, because, man, fantasy football is nigh upon us. It's underway, and you have got to be a part of Sleeper and a part of that league. But the thing is, even if you've already got your team, even if you don't, make sure you get one with Sleeper. There are so many other things you can do with Sleeper. You can bet on individuals, certainly in a game. You can bet on this week, will Zeke Elliott have as many yards as he had last week, over under, right? You can bet on Rico Dowdle, same thing. Or go ahead and bet on how many strikeouts Kumar Rocker will have in his first outing at the major league level. So many things you can do on Sleeper, and we want you to have some free money. That's just the way we are. We like giving people free money. So all you have to do is go to Sleeper and then use the passcode is DLLS Rangers, and you get a $100, up to a $100 first deposit match. Go to Sleeper, make that deposit, get free money, and start winning now.
The number, by the way, as far as Rangers fans are concerned, is Nathan Eovaldi plus or minus 4.5 strikeouts.
I'm going plus
I'm
right
going
now.
plus.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's an easy one for
Yeah,
me.
simple.
Well, you know what I really love about this studio? The floors.
Yes.
I don't know. Did you notice I like to sit on the floor and watch games?
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe it's because I'm 27, but I think the floor's comfier sometimes. But my friends at Empire today, they would love that. And I would want to pick out my floor with Empire because it is comfy. But they are the #1 stop and shop for flooring. They don't do other stuff. So they're specialized in flooring. They're going to give you the best options because it's 24/7. They're committed to flooring. So with Empire today, you get to shop at-home convenience, the right products for your needs, one-stop flooring shop, tongue twister of the day, professional and efficient service. It's the most affordable. We also have a discount code that I'll get to, but you get quality service and speed. Get the right price and get it done the right way. Because, there's imposters. I don't have a house, but has anybody tried to scam you out of new floors?
No, but we definitely need new floors, and it's a process because we got floors in our old house, and it's not easy.
It's not cheap.
No.
For sure. But we do have a $350 off code, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going there for the discount alone. When you use the code DLLS, restrictions may apply, but if you go to empiretoday.com/DLLS, you can check it out. And they have a cool virtual floor plan, so you can take your little phone, hold it up, and you can kind of see what it's going to look like in the room.
Yeah, take a picture of the room, and they will show you what that room looks like with this flooring or that flooring or another. So it's pretty cool.
It is. Did you guys know 3 weeks away from MLB playoffs today?
Yeah, it's great. It's exciting.
I knew that because I saw your tweet.
My tweet.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on Abs on that Twitter machine, man. She's all over it. And keep an eye on this game tonight, too. It's a rematch of game 1 and Game 5 of the World Series. But Game 5 is the one
that matters.
We like to focus on.
Game one was pretty good.
It was. It really was.
The starting pitching wasn't as great.
Right.
But yeah.
But the game was pretty exciting. Yeah, it sure was.
Do you know
Some
it's
things
been
happened.
314 days since that exact day?
Is that right? 314? Did you
yeah.
tweet that?
No, I'm
Dang
gonna run. I gotta save my juice for the show.
For the show, thank you.
and then
Almost
I'll
a year.
and then I'll pump it out. But
Thank you.
I would be really interested to know. I know one of my friends, the DJ of the Rangers, has a World Series trophy. I'd be interested to see how many people got Rangers World Series trophies tattoos.
Rings or
Oh,
tattoos?
Like
tattoo.
the rings.
I was going to
Oh,
say
no, the tattoo.
I thought you said trophy. I'm like,
No,
do they make
like
a
he
replica
has-
trophy?
Well, he has
he's
a
like
replica
Corey's-
on his-
like Corey
on his
Seager's
arm.
got down here.
Yeah, no. So I think there's a lot of people that got World Series tats, and I love the dedication.
Yeah, I do too. They can't take that away from Stats, DJ Stats,
There you go.
and he was a part of it, man. I mean, he played music to
Pumping up
fire
the
those
music,
guys up
yeah.
every time they walked to the plate, every time they walked in from the bullpen, and
We'll have him on in the off season.
yeah, he's great.
Chat about
His
some
friend.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I want to point out that Chase Field is a very special place for Nathan Eovaldi because he obviously won his World Series there. One of them. He has two. But he made his MLB debut there, and he got his first MLB win, and that was August 6th in 2011. 5 innings, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 earned runs.
That's not bad.
The
Not
more you
bad.
know.
No.
Yeah.
Pretty good debut.
But yeah, so Nathan Eovaldi against Zach Gallen, Game 5 of the World Series. Zach Gallen, it looked like was going to throw a no-hitter.
It did.
You know, and it looked like Nathan Eovaldi was just going to give up a pile of runs. All the base runners that Arizona had. I mean, he walked the leadoff guy, Corbin Carroll, which was usually a recipe for disaster for D-backs opponents last year because they could run like crazy. But he managed 6 scoreless innings. Rangers get to Gallen a little bit. I mean, they get to him 1 run. That's what was getting to him was. So they get to him 1 run, and it turns out that's all they needed. But they went ahead and added 4 in the 9th anyway to put the game out of reach. But yeah, this was. I said it the other day. It's probably the guttiest pitching I've seen from in a long time, maybe ever. You know, in my 17 years on the beat, just a ballsy performance to get out of all that traffic.
Right.
Make pitches, pitch around guys, find your outs, and to keep the team in the game. That, you know, again, Game 5, teams have come back from down 3-1. The 85 Cardinals are an example. The Royals are rather an example. The Cardinals blew it. You know, you saw in the ALCS, of course, the Red Sox came from 3-0 down.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen in baseball. And I mean, shoot, I think the D-backs had to win 2 games in Philadelphia just to get the series, just to get to the World Series. So it was just a huge performance, and you know, they're never going to forget it. They're going to walk into this ballpark today and just get hit with all kinds of memories and emotions, and going to that clubhouse that, you know, the floor was just soaked with beer and champagne, and it smelled like cigar smoke, and, you know, lesser people might have vomited. It was so bad and pungent, and
Smell of champions.
it is.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go back in there and just
you remember it.
just get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And Bruce Bochy the other day said, hopefully it reminds them of who they are and how good they can play. But the Rangers haven't been very good on the road, 29-40. Marcus Semien pointed that out Sunday afternoon. So if they're going to continue this, if maybe they're going to get closer to 500 and second place, or even the postseason, they got to play better on the road. And so these are going to be tough 2 games because Merrill Kelly's a pretty good pitcher. He's the one who beat the Rangers in Game 2 of the World Series. So, yeah. But this is going to be. I'll be really interested to see how they react.
I mean, you hope that they look at the World Series ring where they flip it up and it spells out road. Did y'all see that with all of the? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So undefeated on the road. Then I mean.
Yeah.
I feel like we can turn a new wave in September.
Sure.
Why
not?
It is pretty amazing when you think this team that, you know, has been struggling beneath 500 for a while now, languishing there, is 7 games over 500 now at home and 11 under on the road. And maybe they're going to turn that around in this stretch of good play too, because as good as the Arizona Diamondbacks have been playing, right now the Rangers are playing as well as anybody in baseball, Jeff.
You know, I saw a
Just
tweet.
under the Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Bob Nightingale USA Today, who said that since August 18th, only 3 American League teams have winning records. The Rangers at 14-6, the Tigers at 13-7, and then the Astros at 11-10. So the Rangers have been playing very well. The rest of the league, it sounds like there's 12 other teams. Haven't been doing much, but I think the Diamondbacks are good. They really are.
Yeah.
While they're the kind of two World Series teams went different directions this year, the Diamondbacks really put together some good platoons. They went ahead and made some investments in pitching with Eduardo Rodriguez, and then Jordan Montgomery, who's now in their bullpen, hasn't pitched very well. But hey, hats off to them. They went through the same exact thing as the Rangers, just without the trophy at the end, and they've bounced back pretty well.
Yeah, and Nathan Eovaldi in his career against Arizona, he's 4-0 with a 2.8 ERA, 8 career starts against Arizona. And the boys had an off day yesterday. Guess what a few of them did, at least that I saw?
I didn't see.
They went golfing.
Oh, heck
Which, I mean, you're in Phoenix. Like, you have to go golfing.
Yeah, you do. But, man, it's been hot. They've had over 100 straight days of 100-plus degrees. They've had 55 straight days, or not 55 straight, but 55 days this summer over 110. I mean, even for Phoenix, this is an extremely hot summer. Now, obviously, it doesn't affect them when they play the game, but I'm pretty sure they weren't playing golf indoors yesterday where they have.
No, not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But
so.
I saw a funny tweet, and it was like, I'm tired of everything being 100 degrees and $100. And I agree.
It's a heck of a point.
Yeah.
It's 100. It's 100. It's
yeah,
the
but
100 club.
Evo looking for him to be pretty gross on the mound, per usual. His deception, his Arsenal command velo. It's interesting that he throws a 96-mile-an-hour heater, but he uses it 37% of the time.
Yeah, I mean his splitter's so good.
Yeah.
That it
nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, it's just such a good pitch, and I mean it might be the best. The Rangers might have the 2 best splitters in baseball because Kirby Yates' splitter is pretty darn good. For a guy who only throws 93, and for him to have 29 saves out of 30 tries, that splitter is big, and but Nathan has like 900 pitches. He throws.
He manipulates.
He throws them all.
Pitches.
He can change speeds with his fastball. There's just so much he does, and that's what comes with a veteran. He's 9 innings shy of the magical 300 number, whereas player option will become worth $20 million. I still think he'll opt for free agency because he could probably do better than $20 million per season as a free agent, or get two years at 18 apiece, but just or capitalize, turn $20 million into 40 or whatever it is. Hopefully, it's the Rangers that give it to him. Again, this TV deal is a big deal, but I know that Chris Young and Bruce Bochy, their number one free agent target is going to be Nathan Eovaldi.
And should be because he's way more than a pitcher. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nathan Eovaldi is a leader.
Yeah.
He's a teacher. He leads, and this doesn't happen on every team. He leads as a pitcher, even some of the position players. They all kind of, and he's like the mother duckling, and they all kind of follow him,
Well, and he watches. I mean, he's a pitcher, so he wants to see how other teams are hitting.
Yeah.
What their approach is at the plate.
Yep.
And I mean, he can tell you the differences that the Rangers hitters compared to the rest of the league. I mean, it's just amazing what he sees in a game. Doesn't miss anything. And really, I think last year, when game 2 or one of the games of the ALCS, when Altuve missed second base, everybody in the Rangers dugout and on the field saw it. That's how dialed in these guys are during games. They see everything that happens, and they all knew that he did not touch second base on his way back to first. But Nate takes it to another level. I mean, he's watching how other guys hit. He's going to have to face them eventually, but he even watches how his own guys hit.
Yeah. Sounds like you and him kind of share the same brain.
Well, I don't see the same things, though.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, and in fairness, I guess I can see how they all saw that because you're watching Evan Carter, what he's done, and then watching him throw it in. But still, you're right, to have then focused on second as you watch that ball go, back to first base, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I might watch like World Series highlights just to feel something before the game tonight.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean,
it's been a minute.
They're fun. They're fun to watch. My son watches them still. He he's on YouTube and baseball videos pop up, and you've heard him so many times. You hear the voices and you hear the calls and you know the plays, and I obviously the Corey Seager home run in Game 1,
best photo of all time,
was terrific. But his home run in Game 7 of the LCS was terrific too. Just the going into the second deck and the way he reacted, and you kind of knew that the Astros were in trouble.
Yeah,
at that point.
And before we get off the topic here, and we will in just a moment, but Coop asks, what are the chances of getting Eovaldi signed up for 2 or maybe even 3 more years? And again, I think, Jeff, you agree with this. Unfortunately, it is largely dependent on the kind of money the Rangers get from a TV deal. And look, that's just so. I know fans are tired of hearing it. Believe me, as a guy who was a part, on the other side of that TV deal thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were tired of hearing that. It's just uncertain. It's just uncertain. It's just uncertain. Unfortunately, it's still uncertain. And there's still a chance they can get a boatload of money, but there's also still a chance that they won't get much at all. And that decision just needs to be made before the offseason officially begins.
Yeah. To answer Ryan's question, no, we did not get World Series rings. Those went to club employees only.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Could have bought one for like $1,000.
There's another one out there for like 14.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't need one. I was there. That's good enough for me. Yeah, the TV deal's huge. And Eovaldi's going to come on, or not Eovaldi. Eovaldi technically comes off the book, so that's 16. Scherzer 22, Heaney 13. So you add that up, and that's $55 million, I think. So there's some money there. But if you don't have, if you're facing a shortfall in the TV deal from what was a shorter, smaller contract even this year, that's. You just, it's like a job downsizing. You just don't replace those jobs, or you replace them with cheaper options, or a robot or something. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
That's the umpires.
There you go. You go.
That's the umpires. More to talk about. So much more. We want to talk about this Rangers run in September, and we also want to talk about a special Ranger award that's been given to Marcus Semien. But first, we want Abby to tell us about how exactly are employers going to find employees, Abs?
Well, if you need to hire, you need Indeed.
Oh.
They are driven by research for the better. When it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate is not to search at all, Rads.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief,
Yeah.
they match you.
Ah.
They match you. So in the day and age of perfect match and Love is Blind and all these things, they're going to do the same. If you need hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. And it's a matching engine that helps you find the best candidates the fastest. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, messaging, so you can connect with candidates faster. I've never hired anybody, have you?
No, my wife does though, and I've seen her pour over resumes, and it's not an easy process.
Yeah, you bring that to the dinner table. That's not fun.
No, it's not.
So she needs Indeed. And in the minute that we've been talking about it, 23 hires were made.
Wow.
So we are the gift that keeps on giving. We are going to give you a $75 job credit. So all you have to do is go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now, support your show by entering the code, and it's going to get your jobs more visibility.
It's fantastic. That's what you need. You need the best candidates.
You need Indeed.
You have a visibility height. Yeah, you need Indeed.
Yeah.
So, John, I don't know if you know this, Abby.
I'm going to fix this.
Fall baseball is underway for the kiddos, and we have tournament number 1 this weekend.
Wow!
And so we're looking at a good minimum of 6 hours at the ballpark over 2 days, or fields, whatever it is, the complexes. And I can already see it now. I'm going to be lugging my purple cooler, hoisting it into the car,
Dad's strength,
pulling it out, using the rickety handle to drag it along, where I could have a Rugged Road cooler. Now, Rugged Road, if you don't know, it's dedicated to creating innovative, durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best, high-quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring that these products perform in all kinds of conditions, whether it's land or water. These things float. Rugged gear is for you. Floatability is a big deal. It's light. And so, when you're getting up there in the years and you've had back surgery, you don't want to be lifting anything heavy. So I like the lightweight design, durable, because these things get beat to hell going up and down the steps at these little fields. So look, here's the deal. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use the code DLLS for 10% off.
Woo.
And then a big load off your back.
There you go.
It's fantastic. Are you on those fields over there off of Broad Street? Are they still? Is that still the complex?
That's
over
not
there?
the one. Those are Mansfield fields. So no, we're going to be in either Irving or Waxahachie.
Oh.
Maybe we could stop by for a
Should
little
we
lunch.
come
Stop
to
by
a
and have a
game?
bite. Yeah.
I can make a poster.
I'm going to call John and say, hey, John, these bathrooms are
What are you
disgusting.
making for
I need
lunch?
to come over
Yeah.
and use yours.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm going to be involved too, fellas.
Okay. All right, Abby. I'll get you the schedule.
Yeah, we have. We're team.
I'm like
Now,
auntie.
I may miss Saturday because I'm flying back from Seattle. But
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
there'll be Sunday opportunities.
I'm auntie of the year. My little godson, he started t-ball, and he's like the best hitter. He's going to go pro. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Teaching him all the
So
things.
it's your dad's.
Well, my best friend
Oh, okay.
married somebody with my last name. So
Okay.
it's actually no
No
biological.
relation. Okay.
But, we call it the same.
I'm always curious to see the genetic, right? If it was your dad's brother,
Right, well,
he's got
the
similar.
baseball
Even if he
gene?
didn't make the big leagues, he's still got the baseball gene, right?
That's so funny. My brother never even tried pitching.
Didn't he?
No,
He
'cause-
played though.
Yeah, he played. He was like he's third base and
Played in college, did he? Or
yeah,
I know
played
he
in college.
coaches
He's
now.
coaching, but I think he tried it in t-ball, and somebody was like, "Hey, why can't he pitch like Todd?" And my mom was like, "He's 5." You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, but no, I have a little godson that I like to cheer on.
That's
at our
awesome.
little league field.
It's fun, except when you do those 6-8 hour days. I remember them well.
Yeah, the 8 a.m. game's the worst.
Yeah.
And it seems like we always get the 8 a.m. game.
Yeah,
So.
they're
Guys
tough.
are good
At
dads.
least,
And
at least you get the rest of the day.
Or the ones early, it starts in like March, sometime. I think even February, if I remember.
Sure.
You're out there freezing. I'd rather be
yeah.
out there hot.
Last year we came home from spring training. I came home from spring training I think it was a Friday, or maybe a Saturday, whatever. It was a day. And Henry had a game the next day, and we went to the ballpark. Wind was howling, north wind. It was freezing. I was in a blanket, and everybody was like, "Oh, Jeff, glad are you to be home?" I was like, "I'd rather be in Arizona
Yeah,
right now."
no kidding.
Give me Arizona right now.
Enjoy my son's game, but yeah,
Right,
hold
right.
on a minute here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this team in September. And we do want to remind you that we started in late August.
August 26th.
And since we started, is it 10-3 since we
10 and
started?
3, yeah.
10-3 since we started. So
Math is mathing.
we feel like we are responsible.
Well, I think that we are. Frankly, it's just hard. It's not a coincidence.
Right.
We'll just leave it at that.
Cowboys won game 1.
Yeah.
Mavericks haven't started yet. Stars haven't started yet. But we're on good pace as a collective group here at DLLS.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And look, the reality is the Rangers, as Bob Nightingale pointed out, have the best record since August. What was his date? The 16th, the
18th.
17th, 18th. Yeah, right. They did start turning it around. I will point out, we started doing practice shows on the 19th. So give us credit for the practice shows too,
Yeah.
if you would. But we'll stay from when we hit the air or the stream, as it were.
Yeah.
No long. I was reminded by our CEO, not on the air anymore. Oh, sorry. We're on the stream.
We're on the stream.
Yeah, but anyway, it's beautiful to watch what they have been doing. It's something, Jeff, that we thought they would do all year, right? We knew some stretch like this was going to come. There's too much talent here for it to have gone the way it was going all year long.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about all the things that went wrong, and I was on the our sister network in Phoenix yesterday, and kind of breaking down the series and answering what went wrong. And the Rangers had injuries and they had underperformance. You can have one, but you can't have the other.
Yeah.
And the Rangers had that basically until now. And you know, it's not like they're hitting 450 right now. I mean, they're struggling to score runs at times. They're getting timely hits. That's the thing that's been missing all year. You know, you get a guy in scoring position, you got to get him home. You need, you know, 2-out hits or backbreakers. Travis Jankowski had one the other day. Nate Lowe's home run in the first inning was with 2 outs. So those little things are devastating to opponents, and the Rangers just hadn't been doing it. So, you know, it's good to see some more production from Adolis Garcia, but he's still not Adolis Garcia. Jonah Heim is struggling. Nathaniel Lowe is
struggling.
He is struggling.
Yeah.
Has Nathaniel Lowe's picked it up a little bit. Looks like Josh Young's picked it up. Wyatt Langford's picked it up. So there are a lot of good things happening there, but it's just it's too little too late. And as good as the pitching staff was, it was that 3-week stretch really from August, from the end of July until the middle of August, that nothing went right for this team. And so that's kind of why they're in their predicament that they're in. But yeah, it is good to see winning baseball, though. You know, winning baseball is fun. You know, the players are in a good mood. The clubhouse, the music plays after the game.
Yeah.
You know, and they're more willing to talk and make jokes. And I think maybe them being out of it has allowed them to do this. They don't have the worry, the burden of being the reigning champs, and you know, don't have to wonder about why this is happening. It's happened. There's nothing they can do about it now. So just go out and finish on a strong note, play loose. You never know what happens. I was talking to Ian Kinsler the other day, and I was like, Ian, you need to come on our show. He said, okay. I said, we can talk about what happened with the team. He goes, don't count them out yet. There's still time left. It's happened before. So
I like it.
Ian who's a club employee and in their Hall of Fame, he's optimistic. And again, you know, it's not impossible. It's just not likely.
Not probable.
You know what it sounds like the Rangers need to do?
Tell us.
Play hard, have fun.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great point that you bring up, and that's your papa's.
My papa's saying.
Yeah, saying, and I love it. It's just so profound in its simplicity,
Simple.
right? If you just do those things, it's great. And that's the thing. All year last year, we were talking about how much fun this team had together, how much fun they had playing together, and people wondered, wow, how did that chemistry happen? How does that happen? You know how it happens? You win.
Winning.
It's like this, not a vicious, it's like this pleasant cycle, right?
Yeah.
And it's elusive, Jeff. And right now I've heard a couple of the players saying, man, we're having the most fun we've had all year. Well, guess why? You've won 10 out of 13 games.
The last time they won 10 out of 13 was last August.
Yeah.
August of 23.
Yeah.
That was basically right when Josh Young got hurt. They played really, really well for whatever reason, and then it caught up to them. And then they didn't play well, and that's when even making the playoffs became precarious. But really, Young came back. Those last 2 weeks, the Rangers played pretty well. You know, I know the Seattle series at the end did not go well, but they played pretty well. So you know, it could happen again. I don't know that it would. Did Kinsler, Beltre, and Michael Young get rings? I don't think Beltre did, but I'm pretty sure Kinsler and Young did as assistants to the general manager.
Assistant to the regional manager.
And it's one of the reasons they don't pass them around to people like media types, even for those who are there every day and so forth. And people, you know, I last year was blessed really, but traveled with the team, but I was not an employee of the team. Now in 11, I was an employee of the team, and I got the American League Championship Series ring because I was employed by the team. But then last year, my role seemed about the same, but I wasn't an employee of the team, so that I didn't get the ring.
Like Emily got a ring this year, but Leslie didn't.
Right, exactly.
So it's a deal thing.
Yeah.
But you did point out Jonah Heim. I want to point out a stat that I found specifically against Gallen tonight. He's hitless in 12 career at-bats against Gallen. Jonah Heim hitless in his last 21 at-bats. So I don't think we're going to do the biggest deep dive on Jonah Heim, but, you know, you were talking about what's not working. I think it would have been a shorter conversation to say what was working for the Rangers this year. But, yeah, Jonah Heim, he's been struggling definitely lately. I'm going to say it's probably not happening today.
You know what? They've got to find a happy medium with Jonah. He can't catch that much, right?
Yeah.
He just can't. No catcher really can in this day and age.
Right.
And so they need to have, which they just didn't at the beginning of the year. They didn't have a capable backup, at least not one that could, you know, satisfy at the plate. even if he
Carson
was
Kelly's
good behind
been
the plate.
great.
And then it's caught up with Jonah, no doubt about that. And unfortunately, the defensive metrics aren't as good this year as they were last year either. It's been sort of across the board, Jeff.
It was asked of Bruce Bochy the other day, and he mentioned that the Rangers made some changes behind the plate with his positioning because younger pitchers, they wanted to target more over the plate than last year. So if the ball's over the plate, if Jonah's over the plate and he has to reach, umpires will follow the glove. I don't care what anybody says. The umpires, I really think, call a lot of strikes based on where it's caught, not where it crosses the plate. So I think that's hurt a little bit. But he's also, if you look at defensive metrics like I'm doing right now, I'm kind of cheating here. His framing is way down. His pop time is slower. His time to second base. His blocking has gone really downhill. I think that there was a situation in the game with Chafin the other night, a wild pitch that went near the dugout, but the guy scored from second base on it, and there are balls that look like they should be blocked, and they aren't. Now I'm not. This has to be the hardest error to catch ever.
Yeah,
as hard as guys are throwing, and with the amount stuff moves. But still, it just seemed like last year those were things that are being made. And to your point, the playing time, he basically caught the last 17 games of the year last year. There was an off day in between. Then he caught every postseason game, and I know there are off days in the postseason. Nevertheless, it takes a toll. It's a cumulative factor. Then they didn't have an extra month to recover. The Rangers didn't
Seemed
put
like
him in.
He needed surgery or something too.
He had a wrist injury that ended up not needing surgery. He didn't catch until March, I think, in a spring game. So they really tried to slow him down, but then they leaned on him so heavily to start the year because Andrew Knizner just wasn't producing at all. So, and it's just a bad scenario. So maybe with another month this year to recover, maybe Jonah Heim comes to camp more prepared, physically ready. Bruce Bochy does not buy into the notion that fatigue is a factor. He didn't think it should be, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Ultimately, when in hindsight, maybe Jonah will talk about it when he retires. Probably doesn't want to talk about it right now. Maybe he can reflect and say, man, I was not very fresh that season. Whatever it is, get you a catcher that can catch 70, 75 games. Let Jonah catch 80 to 90, not over 100, even though he wants to. It's just kind of let him catch up, see if not being as exposed at the plate helps him. Maybe 100 fewer at bats, he does a little bit more. I don't know. So anyway, it's been a tough year for him, and that's one of the leading factors. He drove in nearly 100 runs last year.
To put his offense in perspective, he has an on-base percentage of .265, which ranks 170th out of 172 hitters with at least 400 plate appearances.
Yeah, that's not very good.
No.
Ryan's question: why aren't rosters 40 anymore in September? Pace of play. That's why it was done. I would like to see it go up a couple more, especially if the pitch clock in play. But I remember Mike Scioscia used to they'd have like 36 active players, 20 pitchers, 15 relievers.
For every hitter.
He would be
every hitter.
wearing out the grass going from the dugout to the mound. And those games would take forever. So I think that's the primary thing. Plus, rules really shouldn't be one way for 5 months of the season, and then for the last month, which matters the most, the rules completely change.
Right.
So I would like to see a few more. I think teams that are in a position like the Rangers or the A's or out of it and are evaluating for the future need the opportunity to be able to do that a little more easily, but not
40.
40.
Not
Yeah,
40.
not 40.
No,
Yeah.
not 40. More to talk about, some feel-good stories with regard to the Rangers, the Marcus Semien story, the Tony Tuesday, and
Tony
the
Tuesday.
playoff watch, wild card, maybe. We talk about all that next. But first, I want to tell you about our merch. Yeah, the DLLS merch. And today, the Stars Group, our DLLS Stars Group, somebody asked the question, what's your favorite victory green? And they sent out a tweet or an X or whatever we call them now with the DLLS version of victory green, and it's spectacular. It's gorgeous. And we have that same thing for every team. We have awesome merch for every single team within our DLLS, our all sport, deal. So we want you to go to store.allcitynetwork.com and check all this stuff out.
And in Phoenix, in Philly, in Chicago, and here. So
Denver.
Denver. I was about to say, you can, Santa's got a brand new bag when he goes back home.
That's right.
Some family.
That's right. I'm going to use our employee discount and just stuff the Rowleys. They're not Wilsons anymore. Rowleys. My wife got married to a Rowley, and so all the Rowleys are getting DNVR gear.
Absolutely.
But it's good gear.
You're going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
It's good gear.
It's a great deal. It's great gear, and it's cool. It's like the hip thing. It's in. So you need to get it. It's simple. Store.allcitynetwork.com and get your favorite merchandise that also helps represent us. We appreciate you doing that.
And if you become a diehard member, which is like our valued member, you get access to all content. You know what? You get you a free shirt. So you can go to store.allcitynetwork.com, pick you out a shirt, get it for free. It's like getting almost half off of your $79.99 membership. You're basically getting it for $45 because you're getting a dang free shirt.
Every year, right?
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Also, as a diehard, you get first access to our special events that we're going to be having, stadium takeovers, watch parties, hopefully some trips that will be coming up to big events. Spring training, in my mind, is the most important part of the year for media. So hopefully can all go to Surprise sometime. I can show you around. I've been going there. I've lived in Surprise more than 1 year in my life. I've added up the days. Yeah. It's more than a year. Yeah. Probably more than a year at our favorite watering hole we can take you to. Andy at Booties, he'll treat you right and give you a nice discount there. But the DLS membership gets you 20% off of any additional merchandise you want to buy. First crack at these events, and then again, all the paywalled access to all the paywalled stories and content you could possibly want. So check out alldls.com and figure out how to be a diehard. You will not regret it. I can assure you that.
Yeah, and a spring training story, like one from my childhood. I always loved spring training. Well, I was always really sad the day the pitchers reported because it was February 14th. That is so traumatic as a child. My dad left every year February 14th.
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So I would go to school sobbing, and kids would be like, why are you crying? But it was always fun because spring training is when we kind of did the homeschool thing. And so we would get, we'd go with my mom to like pick out our rental, and we would kind of look for the pool or, Alex, I'm taking this room. And then my dad every single year would like tradition, like he'd put like kind of like an Easter basket almost, but just like a little like candy, little treats. Yeah, just like, nice. Hey, so like,
you had
welcome
Lakeland,
home.
Florida. Where else did the Tigers still are in Lakeland?
Yeah, I mean,
else?
we've lived in Jupiter, Florida, Fort Lauderdale. I mean, my mom has like a running list, but we've spent a ton of time in Florida.
Always the teams he was with were always Florida though.
We had 1 year, I think, with Arizona.
Okay,
but we were Florida.
And the Colorado year would have been Tucson.
Yeah. My daughter's birthday is the 13th of February. So there were many years, and only 1 year did I ever go for the whole time like Jeff does every year. But most years I go with the group I've been with when pitchers and catchers report and stay for a week. So it was the same thing. My poor daughter's like, happy birthday, my dad's gone.
Yeah, also the World Series, our good buddy Damian Easley, he's the hitting coach of the Diamondbacks. So that was fun because, I grew up with all the kids and we still keep up on social media. So, I always love seeing the D-backs and Mr. Easley.
To answer Ryan's question, Abby's dad did play in the major leagues. He's closer Todd Jones, an all-star.
Similarly looking to Andrew Chafin.
Yeah. There you go.
And helped the Tigers to the World Series in
didn't
06
win.
with who as his catcher? Pudge Rodriguez. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
Pudge. Every time Pudge sees me, he goes, "Your dad still had the Fu Man?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, still got it. Yeah. So we want to talk about some of the fun things that are happening regarding the Rangers right now, including the Roberto Clemente Award. Yesterday, the finalists were announced. Each team has one finalist. It's a national award, the Roberto Clemente Award, and there's a representative from each team, and then ultimately one person wins the national Roberto Clemente Award. There is no better person that they could honor that is, with a philanthropic award, with an award that that praises players for what they do off the field as well as on the field. Roberto Clemente was a fantastic player, but tragically died when he was on a plane to go help people who had been through an earthquake in Honduras. So just an amazing man and an amazing story, and it is an honor for each and every one of these guys that get nominated as the team's representative for the Roberto Clemente Award. And for the Rangers, it's Marcus Semien. And that's not a surprise. Look, but there are plenty of candidates, right?
Sure.
There's a lot of them that give back.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that Marcus, seeing what everybody else does, this means something.
Yeah, and they do it quietly. So does Corey Seager, so does Nathaniel Lowe, John Gray, fantastic at it. But they do it quietly. They understand the good fortune that they've fallen into. They probably, before they became major leaguers, knew people who were in tough situations. And Marcus is really big about nutrition, for making sure that kids eat right and get their foods. Thanksgiving's a big one for them. So
He's donated more than 200 Thanksgiving dinners to local families since 2022.
Yeah, and really, it's a combination of on-field play and philanthropic endeavors, and Marcus is a great candidate. I always thought Cole Hamill should have won the award, because Cole was really good about it. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Marcus won it. It takes one thing that these players end up with, guys like Marcus, Michael Young, respect from their peers, and their peers know it too. The fans may not know it, but their peers know it. That's why Michael Young was twice the Marvin Miller Man of the Year, which is voted on by the Player Association, and that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a huge deal. I don't know if Marcus has won that, but it would not surprise me in the least for him to do that at some point, especially with the way he represents the team, represents the players in the union. But yeah, great choice, Marcus Semien. I think he's also the Heart and Hustle nominee. So that just tells you how much he means to his teammates.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, he's just the ultimate dad. Like, I thought he was so much older just because he carries himself that way, but he's never changed his walk-up song since joining the Rangers, because his kids picked it, and it's kind of like a worship song, if you will. So, yeah, congrats to Marcus.
I love that. Did Elvis ever change his, or was that Baby Shark?
He did change it. Baby Shark.
It's got to be the
Baby
worst
Shark
walk-up song I've
was
ever
there
heard in my life.
Well, it was for
It was and it was
Elvis Emilio,
Right,
his oldest
right.
son now, but
Yeah.
his first son, and he loved the song, so
That's
he
a
was going
really
to the
good
games. Elvis
dad.
wanted to have a good time, and I think it lasted about a month or 6 weeks, and then he changed it probably to something Bruno Mars, because that's Elvis's guy right there. But that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it really is. All right, Tony Tuesdays. Come on, man. It's Tuesday. We do this every
Tony
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Let me get it pulled
He's
up.
just great.
here.
Tony Beasley, what a guy.
All right. Today, I just can hear him saying it. Today, I pray for each of you that you would find comfort, and that knowing God will protect, deliver, and keep you. His love is unconditional, never ending. He desires you to trust his plan and purpose for your life. Win your day. Tony Tuesday.
That's fantastic. Love Tony, and he's a guy. They don't have that award for coaches, but I
He
don't
would
know
win it
that there's
tenfold.
a better, a more giving guy, right? Not just to his own team and to his, the guys that play for him, but to just pretty much anybody out there.
Yeah.
Our second Do It for Dirt event in 2015 was the first year of that coaching staff, and Tony was on the staff for the first time, and it was 80s theme night, or back to the 80s, whatever it was, and Tony came dressed as Michael Jackson.
Wow. And sang.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he was Michael Jackson. And yeah,
good.
he's saying, we sing "We Are the World" at the end. That's the big closing
Did you watch
act.
that documentary?
I did not.
It's really good.
And Tony, Michael Jackson had a big part in that, and the whole "We Are the World" thing, and a major role in the singing. And Tony was singing the heck out of it. So that was probably my first real interaction with Tony. It was in June of that year, and ever since then, Tony's been my guy.
Yeah, understandably. Great guy. Check him out. He's on X with the Tony Tuesdays and lots of inspirational messages each and every Tuesday. We didn't get to the talk of the playoffs and the wild card stuff, but we'll have a chance to do that.
Hey, there's a show tomorrow.
We got shows tomorrow. We mentioned it. Jeff is headed to Seattle. He will be there for Kumar Rocker's first major league start, the debut of what might be the future, what the Rangers hope, what we all hope is the future ace of this staff.
I believe in Kumar.
And what a 1-2 punch it could easily prove to be with he and Jack Leiter.
Well, and Jacob deGrom is pitching Friday night, making his season debut. That's Rangers got 3 more years of that. So, envision either next year even or 2026.
There's hope.
DeGrom, Rocker, Leiter. That could be pretty. That could be pretty
hope,
salty,
guys.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So we thank you as always for joining us here today. We've got more tomorrow. We're here pretty much every day this week at 2:00. Tomorrow it will be a pregame show for the Getaway Day already. Yeah, just a 2-game series in Arizona. Getaway Day is tomorrow. A pregame show comes your way at 2:00. The game will follow at 2:30, and we come on right after the game. Don't forget about that. We've got a postgame show after each and every Getaway Day game. We want you to continue to like us, continue to subscribe to us, and when you're on with us, as so many have done today, we ask you to chat along. We love having you. We love being here. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow on the
Y'all have the best day
DLLS Rangers
ever.
Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.